Hi everyone, welcome to Sunya IAS. In this class, we are starting the new part of your ancient history series, and in this class, we will discuss about Magad and Mauryas. We'll see how the rise of Mauryas happened and how the journey started very nicely and you can say energetically with Chandragupta Maurya. So we will start that today. But before I start it, I just want to tell you that in case you want the study materials and if you want to be the part of our private group, then you just need to see the scanner. Okay, just scan this QR code and you can join us. The best thing is that you'll be getting the live class updates regularly, the study material, mentorship. Also, you'll be able to show your homework, you can get your answers checked, you can get your problems solved, and you can discuss your doubts with your classmates. Okay, so please join this by scanning this QR code. Okay, and let me know guys if it is working fine from your side, if I'm audible and visible to you, so that we can start the session accordingly. In the last class, what we discussed about the rise of Mahajanpads, if you remember, right? So from there only I would connect the dots. I told you about 16 Mahajanpads, right? And today we will write about all those important Mahajanpads one by one, and we'll see that how Magad became so important, and from Magad how Mauryas emerged, because from there only around 4th century AD you will see the rise of Mauryan Empire, because by the time of 4th century the Magad will acquire all the neighboring regions and it will be the most powerful kingdom. Okay, so let's see how it will be there. For NCERT, if you want to check how can you read it in the book, so in NCERT class 12th, the chapter which we will be doing is chapter 2, 3, 4 of class 12th NCERT, and from class 6th NCERT it is chapter number 7, 8 and 9 which is going to be covered today. As we are going topic wise, so we simultaneously cover the chapters from 6th, 11th and 12th class NCERT. I have mentioned the name of chapters, you need not read it and do the efforts by yourself. No, you can leave that particular part of reading. It's better to focus on MCQs to do the revision, unless until you feel very weak at your basics. Okay, if you are very weak and if you feel like not getting connected with the classes, then only you should read NCERT after watching the classes, so that you recall the points. Okay, otherwise it is fine to leave NCERT and continue watching the classes regularly. Now we will just start the session. As I told you, the chapters which we are doing today are from class 12th and class 6th NCERT. Okay, so from class 12th we are starting from the chapter number 2, because this chapter was not discussed very in a very detailed way with you, so I'll just explain it again. However, topics are repeated because we have touched these topics in the last class. Okay, I hope you can get it fine. Let me just see if it is working fine technically, if it is right. Yes. Good evening everyone, good evening guys, thank you so much for joining. Okay, I can see few of the new students joined, so don't worry about your backlogs, because all the classes are recorded and you can find the playlist in the YouTube channel. So just watch the previous lectures and you can watch it on double speed also to complete it quickly. No worries at all. Now let's start the session from the chapter number 2 of class 12th NCERT. Why this chapter is important? Because this chapter connects you from the urbanization, the first phase urbanization, to the second phase urbanization. As I told you that several developments in different parts of our subcontinent happened. So when we say subcontinent, there is a difference. Subcontinent means you include the neighboring countries of India also in the Indian subcontinent, and it is having all the features of a continent. That's why we call it a subcontinent also. But when we say India specifically, then you are talking about the India or the regions in India only, in which only the Indian states and the Indian boundary will be considered. But when we talk about the ancient history, we always used to write Indian subcontinent. Okay, because we include the part of Pakistan, Afghanistan. Also, we go beyond the Bay of Bengal. So that's why we need to write this Indian subcontinent in the answers also. Just keep this thing in mind, it will give you extra marks. Okay, now after the long span of time, we saw that some new changes happened. So we consider the time of 1500 BC, and there you will see the end of Harappan civilization, after which we saw the rise of Vedic era. Okay, and then Rigveda was composed along the Indus and its tributaries, which we have already covered. Okay, I'm just going quickly just to show you that we have completed NCERTs very nicely. Okay, but if you feel stuck in any of the point, you can let me know in the comment box. Okay, I'm just quickly revising it for you. So agricultural settlements emerged in several parts of our subcontinent. We saw the rise of paddy transplantation also. The new mode of disposal of the dead, like making megaliths, were started. I showed you few megalithic sites also. We we have seen the images where the burials were buried, and along the burial site so many big stone boulders were placed, so it was known as a megalithic site, and it was to protect the body from animals and bad climatic conditions. Fine, so we covered this. Then we saw the emergence of Mauryan Empire, and there Chandragupta Maurya will come around 321 BC. So Chandragupta Maurya is considered as the founder of the empire, and he extended the control up to Afghanistan and Baluchistan. Okay, so we need to see how Chandragupta Maurya will become the founder, after which Bindusar will come, and then Ashoka will come. Okay, so Chandragupta Maurya basically he was a great ruler and nobody could defeat him. Ultimately what he did, he started practicing Jainism, and there is a practice in Jainism known as Sallekhana. Okay, Sallekhana is a practice in which you do voluntary fasting. It is a fast unto death, in which you voluntarily leave the food and drinks and everything, and by reducing the food intake slowly, you just keep on fasting and fasting, and ultimately you don't take food at all, and then due to this the death happens. And in this process it is not something which happens as an act of passion. That's why it is very legal. This is still practiced in India. So this practice is known as Sallekhana. So Chandragupta Maurya practiced this Sallekhana, which is something which happens in Jainism. If someone thinks that my life is over now and I have achieved whatever I wanted, I don't want to live anymore, and I can now practice this starvation. So yes, they can do it. In 2015, Rajasthan High Court banned Sallekhana. They said that it is suicidal. It looks like someone is committing suicide. But then Supreme Court uplifted the ban and said that no, Sallekhana is a fine practice and it is a religious practice. So it is not something which should be considered suicidal. So the ban was uplifted and now it is practiced. Okay. So basically Chandragupta Maurya came, and then his grandson, the Ashoka the Great, he will become the most important ruler, because he will expand more and he will go beyond the Deccan India. So the most famous ruler who conquered Kalinga also, after the concurrence of Kalinga, he changed his mind. He started following the peace policy, and he said that I don't want to be someone who gets the victory on all the directions, but I want to win the hearts. Okay, so he said that I don't want to be the Digvijay, but I want to be the Dharma Vijay. So Digvijay is someone who can get the Vijay in all the directions. So he said that no, I don't want to be the Digvijay anymore, I want to do the Dharma Vijay. So this kind of change happened after the Kalinga war in Ashoka. Why, we will see that later when we will discuss about Ashoka. There is a separate chapter for Ashoka which I will be discussing with you. Then variety of sources comes in front of us when we try to reconstruct the history. So To reconstruct the history of Mauryan Empire, you can have archaeological findings also, you can have literary records also. And we have many different types of literary records. We have pillar edicts and rock edicts also. So that's why these archaeological findings, especially the sculpture, Ashoka's inscriptions, literary sources like Indica, okay, the Indica account, and then we have the account of Kautilya's Arthashastra also. So all these things are a great way of learning the Mauryan history. Fine. Then you will see a new notion of kingship which will emerge in India. So by 200 BC you will see the emergence of new chiefdoms and kingdoms in several parts of subcontinent. And here we start the time of Chola, Cheras and Pandyas. This is also mentioned in the Sangam literature. Okay, so there is a chapter of Sangam age where we will see the time period of 3rd century BC to 3rd century AD. Okay, so in this Sangam age we had Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas, and they used to fight among each other for expanding their territories, and they all were very important kingdoms. But when you come and discuss about Cholas, you can get confused because in ancient history we have two Cholas. Okay, so this is Chola, and one more Cholas will be there, and they will come around 9th century AD. They will replace the Pallavas in 9th century AD, and they are also part of your ancient history, but they are called imperial Cholas. So let's see what is the difference. Basically, Cholas in ancient history, we have two. One is from the Sangam age, so we just call them Cholas. They ruled around 3rd century BC, and then they ruled up to the time of 3rd century AD, and then you will see imperial Cholas. They will come around 9th century AD, and they will go beyond the Bay of Bengal. They will capture the parts of Java, Sumatra, Malaya, and they will go to Indonesia also. They'll make the Hindu temples there. The temple in Angkor Wat is very famous example. So you'll see the rise of Cholas and their expansion towards Sri Lanka and Java, Sumatra, Malaya, Indonesia. That we will discuss when we will come to 9th century AD. But as you know that we are not discussing AD right now, we are still in BC, right? So first Sangam age and Sangam Cholas will be covered, and with these Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas were contemporary kingdoms at that time. Okay, so this Chola, Chera, Pandya in Tamilakam, it is known from a Sangam text. Tamilakam is a Sangam text. Basically, in Sangam age, which is from 3rd century BC to 3rd century AD, we saw 3 Sangams. Sangam means a meeting, okay, where Tamil poets used to meet and they used to write. They used to work on different compositions, and at that point of time they used to write poems related to the polity, society, economy. Okay, so they mentioned Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas again and again in their literature. Okay, so whatever they have written, whatever we have found, so many of those Sangam literatures are are not available today at present time, but we have few of the sources still remaining for reading. So one of the source is Tamilakam. Okay, this is also one of the literary record. Okay, then most of these states, including the Satvahans and Shakas, had control over long distance trade networks. So we will discuss about Satvahans who were there in the part of Deccan India and central India, and then we will discuss Shakas also, who ruled around the part of western India, and they will be defeated by Guptas later. Okay, then Kushans are again very important. They will be there by the time of 1st century BC. So Kushan rulers patronized art and culture of India. They patronized Gandhar school of art, and they also patronized the Mathura school of art. That's why they are important. And they ruled over a vast kingdom extending from the Central Asia to Northwest India. The best quality of gold coin was found during the Kushan rule, okay, especially during the time of Kanishka. Okay, so the best quality of gold coin came in this time, and their history has been reconstructed from the inscriptions, coins, sculptures, which convey a sense of notion of kingship. Okay, then we will come to the history of Guptas, who came around 4th century CE and has been reconstructed from the literatures, coins, inscriptions again, and including Prashastis also. I told you about a very famous Prashasti yesterday. Do you remember that? Prashasti of Samudragupta. Who wrote that Prashasti? Can you tell me the name of the writer who wrote the Prashasti of Samudragupta? Saurabh Gupta, you have asked a question, why imperial? Understand what is the meaning of imperial first of all. Do you understand the term imperialism and colonialism? Basically, we can have these two terms. Imperialism is an older concept. Okay, it's an older concept. Colonialism is a new concept which came in modern time, modern history. So, in the ancient times, like Roman Empire, it was imperial in nature. So, being imperial means being expansionist, where you do a lot of expansion. You try to capture more and more territories. You spread your culture, your religion, and you try to acquire the land. But here, the concept is very positive, okay, because even if you are expanding and capturing new lands, it is just to acquire the resources and spread your own culture. It's not exploitative in nature. But colonialism is very exploitative in nature. So, when Britishers came to India, we don't say that it was British imperialism. We say it was British colonialism. Britishers colonized India, right? We don't say that they were imperial in nature. They were colonial in nature. Why they were not imperial? Because they were not spreading their culture here. They were not doing a mutual understanding with the Indian culture. They were not getting adjusted with us, but they were only exploiting Indians. They were exploiting the resources. It was their economic selfish reason for which they came to India. But Cholas, they never had any economic selfish nature. They were spreading their boundary. They wanted to conquer more lands. They wanted to get their culture spreaded in many areas, and that's why it is known as imperialism. Okay, where you do the expansions. Clear? I hope you understood the question. Fine. So now I can see that you guys come live but you don't like the video. You must like the video and share it with your friends, because I want my audience, live audience, to increase on daily basis. It motivates our team, and then we will be starting a new series simultaneously for other subjects also. So if you want us to start the other subjects of NCERT books with you, so just try to support this initiative first and try to share it with your learners. Share it on your social media, WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, wherever you are. Okay, so that we can have more audience attached with us. Now, as I was discussing about the Prashasti, I gave you a question. So the answer is Hari Sena. I hope you remember Hari Sena composed that Prashasti, in which they used to exaggerate a lot. Atishayokti. In Hindi we use a term Atishayokti, in which you add so many different types of commentaries and things where you compliment a ruler so that ruler will be happy, and ruler is often compared with the god, right? So strategies for increasing agricultural production happened. There was the use of with iron, ploughshare, introduction of transplantation happened, use of irrigation through wells, tanks, these things happen, and less commonly canals also. You will see many of the rulers, they started taking a lot of interest in making new irrigational canals, and they really wanted to increase agriculture because land really became a source of wealth for them. Okay, now land grants to religious institutions or Brahmins were given. Okay, so when you give land grant to a Brahman, that will be known as Brahmadeya, and if you give land grant to a temple, then that will be known as what? Do you know the term? Tell me in the comment section if you know this. Okay, Brahmadeya or Brahmadan, where you give land grant to a Brahman. But if you give a land grant to a temple, then that will be known as what? If you know, tell me in the comment box. Let's see who can tell me. बढ़ा चढ़ाकर लिखना, राइट निशांत? एग्जैक्टली, किसी बात को बढ़ा चढ़ाकर लिखना. इन प्रशस्ति दे यूज टू डू इट. ओके, सो प्रशंसा करना बढ़ा चढ़ा करके, adding so many compliments, exaggerated compliments, more than required. Okay, now, so basically land grants to religious institutions were given, land grants to the temples, land grants to the Brahmins, and it was to extend agriculture to new areas or to win allies by making grants of land. Okay, so if I give land grant to a temple, I'll be very popular among the public. See, people, they like to see the king making liberal donations. Okay, it will increase the prestige of king. That's why when in medieval times invaders came to India, you will see that Muslim invaders, very firstly, they used to target the temples. Why they targeted temples? Why they destroyed temples? Was it a religious reason only? No. Understand, it is not just about religion. It's also having a political connection. Temple is like a pride of that king. If you are attacking the temple, you are attacking on the pride of that king. If you are looting the temple, you are destroying the pride and security of that king. Okay, so temples became the source of economy at that time. Even if you read about the art and culture, there you will see many of the theaters were performed, and to perform the theaters and dance forms, the temple compound was used. Okay, so many of the dance forms, theaters in India, they got developed in the temples only. Because in temples they had mandapa in an area where assembly hall was situated, where people used to assemble and sit, and they used to watch, they used to see the artists performing. So these arts, these new dance forms, theaters started due to the temples only. So when the temple art started in India, specifically if I ask you, from which particular era or from which particular age temple construction was started. So remember that from the Gupta age, temple construction started, and in South India, the temple construction was initiated by Pallavas. So who started temple making? Guptas in North India and Pallavas in South India. This you need to remember. Okay, Devdhan is the right answer given by Saurabh and Yaduvanshi Anjali. Well done, guys. I can see that you guys are reading, so it means that you have a good understanding of basics, and you can take it to a new level with these classes. Great. Now let's come back to the topic again. Emergence of urban centers happened. As I told you, that we will talk about the 16 Mahajanpads separately today. There, if you remember, yesterday I was talking about Magad. So Magad initially had Rajgir as its capital. Then the capital was shifted to Patliputra. Why Patliputra? Because in this area, 5 hills were situated around the Patliputra and 3 rivers. So it became a very a very centered area which is so protected by the nature itself, and there was no need to do fortification at all, because it was already fortified by the nature. So whatever gaps were remaining, they fortified it, they filled the gaps, and it became a very important, protected and secured compound, and that's why the capital was shifted here, which is in Patna today. Okay, then Ujjaini. If you remember, I told you that Ujjain is in the center of North and South Indian subcontinent, so it became a connecting point, and that's why trade used to happen from here. Then Puhar was an important port. Okay, so from this port, import and export was done. That's why Puhar is very, very important, and it was under the control of Cholas at that time. And then Mathura. Mathura became a center of art, where Mathura school of art also developed, where the use of red sandstone was there, and they used to make these sculptures of Hinduism, Jainism and Buddhism also. In the towns, different type of people used to live, such as washing folk, weavers, scribes, carpenters, potters, religious teachers, merchants, kings. So this is something which shows urbanization. Basically, when we talk about the urban culture, we discuss where people of different occupations are living together, and you can find whatever you need. If you want to have a washerman, you can easily find. If you want any other kind of help, that is easily available. So all these kind of mixtures happened in the town area. Due to these mixtures only, you will see the rise of caste system in a more complex manner, because we will see basically in the Vedic era only we discussed that Varna system was there, and then caste system came. So Varna system was based on duty, and to fulfill that duty, which particular profession you will choose will define your caste. Okay, like for example, being a teacher is, let's say it is like a Varna, but which teacher? What do you teach? Which subject do you teach? So if you are a history teacher, then you will get this surname. So this will indicate that all these surnames and people associated with this surname are history teachers. Okay, so to make it more specific, caste, then subcaste came. Okay, Varna, caste and then subcastes. But how this complex situation became so important in society, and why it was increasing with time, why so many new castes came up during the Gupta rule and even after the post Gupta empire. The reason was that in the towns, as I told you, many people coming from different occupations and family backgrounds started living together. So let's assume that you are living in a society, and you have a few of your neighbors and known people around you. You know that what kind of culture and language you guys follow. If you see new people coming and shifting in your societies, and if they have a different way of life, different culture, different lookings and physical features, you might feel like getting some kind of different identity from them. Okay, you may call that, okay, these new people should be having a new different name, and we are already living here since so long time, so we should always have a different level of identity, because you will always try to show your roots to a part of a region or a community. So because of this mindset and thinking and insecurity also, people started having many castes and subcastes in the society, just to clarify their identity, that since so long they are living in a region, they are the owner of that place and they have the legitimacy to live in that area. Nobody can question their culture and no outsider can take their place. And if some outsider is coming, that outsider will have a different surname, will have a different caste or a subcaste, to have a different identification. Okay, so people started being very judgmental. Okay, they started judging and they started talking more. They started complexities in society. Okay, we should not sit with them, we should not eat with them, they are lower caste groups, they are upper caste group, they do this kind of work, they do that kind of work. This kind of fragment fragmentation happened in the mind of people, and it became more complex in the Gupta Empire due to the invasions and newcomers in India. So if new invaders and new people will come and arrive, the complexity of caste system will increase. If no new people, if nobody is coming, nobody is acquiring the land or capturing or fighting, then no need to have the rigorous caste system and following ship of it. See, there is a necessity and reason behind everything. If people started doing it, there was a reason of insecurity with them. So if the insecurity will increase, the caste system will increase. Then artisans and traders organize themselves in guild or shrenis. As I told you, it was to help each other. Let's say we both are businessmen. You are doing the business of garments. I am doing the business of utensils. So we both have different data. Like today data is so important, right? We data is the most expensive thing, I can say. It's very important to have connections, networks, people, customers, buyers for you. So you need to have their phone number, their data, their address, their likings, their disliking. So today we are living in the internet era, okay, the technical era. But at that time technology was not there. So how people will transfer the data, how they will tell about the informations of customers, their liking, their demands, how they will decide to make things. So to have a proper level of production and run the economy in a more suitable way, it was very important to make these kind of groups where they can share loans also, some loan burden, if some money is needed, if some advance is needed, if they want to enter in a new market, if they want to enter in an unknown place, they will take the help of guilds and these shrenis. And you will be surprised to know that these shrenis and guilds, once they became so famous and so important, that they had a lot of wealth. Basically they were businessmen, right? So if I will try to compare the wealth of Ambani and Modi ji, you know that who will have more wealth, who is having more money, right? So just to understand it, try to have this mindset that basically these businessmen and traders, they were very, very rich. They were very influential, but they never wanted to rule directly, because ruling and servicing people is a different job. They enjoyed their business and trade. They wanted to increase it more and more. That's why what they decided, that they will influence the political leaders. So it is not happening in the present time. It's not the present democracy and polity. It is happening since the ancient times. Okay, since the ancient times, these guilds, these shrenis, they used to meet the rajas. Even sometimes there used to be the meetings where they formally used to announce a new development, that we will make these different, level of roads, we are making these new irrigational canals for you, we will dug these 100 new wells in the village area. So they started giving some support to the king also. So king used to legitimize these guilds, that okay, you are a very powerful guild, you can manufacture this item, you can trade, you can export it from India, you can even issue the coins. Many of the shrenis and guilds started issuing their coins also. And do you know about the stock market? If you know, you must be knowing about a paper which is like a guarantee. Okay, so these kind of papers, these kind of guaranteed documents and stocks were also exchanged at that time. And many of the times these papers, documents were kept in the temple area, because temple was the most sacred and safe place for doing all these activities. So all these transactions were done where you can take the loan, where you can take the securities. Like today we have government securities, we have papers where you can exchange the paper into currency. So at that point of time also, these guilds and shrenis used to issue coins, stocks like that, okay, to influence the market. Now, trade both in the subcontinent and with East and North Africa happened, with West Asia, with Southeast Asia, and with China. So at that time, what do you think? Balance of trade was negative or positive in India? I hope you know about balance of trade. Balance of trade is when your country does the import and export. So if you are importing more, then you will give money to the other countries. So that will be a negative balance of trade because you are importing more. But if you are exporting more, that is a positive balance of trade. And we should always try to achieve positive balance of trade where we can export more to the other countries and we need not to import many things from outside. Okay, so it was a positive balance of trade. Okay, and the best point about India was that we were self sufficient. The economy was self sufficient. We never needed anything to import. We only used to import luxury goods like gold, horses, sweet wine. So there was nothing like if you don't import it, you will die. No, it was just a luxury good. If you can import it, fine. If not, then still no issues. It was not creating any big difference in economy. It was just a liking and a branding, you can say. So we had no need to import things at that time, and we were having a very positive balance of trade, and this led to a very great level of strengthened economy in India. Okay, so Ashish, Saurabh, Sri Lakshmi, all of you guys gave the right answer that it was positive. Okay, then I can see one more question is by Saurabh. Ma'am, social disparity was there. Was there any problem in indulging in trade affairs, mainly in money lending? No, there were no problems, nothing like that. Even you can see that we were so self sufficient, and the kings also used to support these trade activities. They were set of rules and they were fixed for everyone, so no problems were at all. But if we talk about the social disparity, so yes, social disparity was there. Okay, and I told you why it was because of the invaders. Let's say in your house, in your area, in your society, if newcomers, if new people will join and if they will start residing in the place nearby your location, what you will feel? See, first of all, we are fearful. We human beings are insecure. We are always hungry and we are always insecure. And this hunger and insecurity, भूख और भय, ये लाइफ में बढ़ती रहती है, इंक्रीज होती है. इट विल ओनली इंक्रीज इन योर लाइफ, इट कैन नेवर डिक्रीज. द हंगर and the fear can only increase in a human life. So after 5 years and 10 years, you will realize it more that life is more complex now. It is more difficult now. It's not getting easy. You will have more issues, problems, responsibilities, burdens. Fine. So because of this thinking, we always feel insecure. The first point and the first thing which comes to your brain is to feel protected. And why we are like this? Because since a very long time we were hunters and gatherers. Okay, 99% of human history, which is a part of your Paleolithic age, is where we used to do hunting and gathering. So the mindset, the brain, the evolution of our brain is like that, that we always have this thing in our mind that if this person is coming to me, is he a right person? I will always think negative first. Negativity will come first to my mind and then the positive point can come. So the first impression will always be negative. And because of this first impression, you can say these new complexities and disparities emerged. Clear? Muslin silk is very famous, of course. The muslin silk, best it comes from Bangladesh. At that time, Bangladesh was the part of India. Because of this only here, I can relate the point that due to partition, we lost many of the important cotton growing and sugar growing areas from India. Because of partition, it happened, and it really led to a decline in economy also. Okay, I'll discuss that when we will come to the partition. I hope you can understand these points. Okay, so as I told you, we were self-sufficient, and India used to export spices, fine pearl, ivory, silk cloth, medicinal plants. So now I'll tell you a very surprising theory. Can you see this? It's very common, and you must have heard that Bharat सोने की चिड़िया था. India was the hub of gold. India had a lot of gold. Why India had a lot of gold? Because we used to export these things. So Romans, Europeans, Chinese, Africans, they used to purchase it from India. So at that time, if you are purchasing any expensive item, you will use the gold coins and silver coins, right? And the quality of gold and silver was also very, very high. So of course, we will have all the golds and silvers from the world coming in India, and we will sell the products. Fine. In this situation, there is a theory that basically when you say that Britishers really exploited India and India was the hub of gold and it had so many gold coins, it was the sink of gold, it was completely destroyed by Britishers and Europeans, then in reality you should not say that. Why? Because if you understand that if this is India, we had a silk route going, from this particular region, from the North India and the northwestern part. So basically this silk route became the source of our wealth. Many traders, many artists, they use this trading area, this route, to collect the gold and silver coins by selling those items. Fine. So Europeans say this, that reality is the India which is the sink of gold and silver, or which was the sink at that time, got all the golds and silver from the Europeans only. It was not the Indian gold, it was not the Indian origin. Okay, those metals, those precious stones, everything, whatever wealth India had was something which came from the Roman Empire and big empires from the world, and especially from the European empires. So it was the European gold which came to India in the ancient times, and in the modern times it was taken back to the Europeans by their colonization. So they justify their colonization in this way. They justify their exploitation in this way, that we took away our own wealth which was kept in your country. It was the European gold coin, it was the European silver, it was the European wealth which you took away from us. So that's why it is justified. So India was never a sink of gold. It had no wealth. It had wealth, but it was sustainable only. But in reality, the kind of luxury, the kind of sink of gold and silver which it got, all the precious metals and semi-precious metals and stones, it got from the other countries. Okay, so do you agree on this theory? What do you say? What do you think? Is it a right theory? Is it a right explanation of the Indian gold? And do you believe in it? Basically, see, this is not wrong. If they say that, okay, all Roman coins and everything was looted by the Indian traders and they took away the gold and the wealth of Europe and it was taken to India, that's right. But you never returned those products also, no? The silk products, the ivory products, all those original goods, okay, that high quality product, it was also taken away from India by you. So if you have all those luxury items today in your country, and if you have placed in your monuments, if you have those things placed in your museums, so you should also remember that you purchased it from India only. So if you can justify your exploitation of taking away your own gold coins, then you should also justify it more by giving us back all those products which you purchased from us. You never gave it back, no? So you can never justify. Even if you buy something online, what you do? If you return a product, then only you get your money back. So it's like saying that, okay, I don't like the product, I will not return it, but I want my money back. This is wrong, right? This is never justified. So we agree that a lot of wealth in India came due to this trade only. Because of this positive trade, we got many gold and silver coins, especially the Roman coins found in South India. But it is really fine and justified and clear that it was because of the sale of goods. We sold the products. Many of the artists and manufacturers worked hard to make it, and that's why their hard work gave them golds and silvers at that time. So they earned it. We never looted it from you. We earned it by making goods, which is fine to do. We all do the hard work. We all work. We all do the jobs just to earn. So at that time also people were earning like this. So there is nothing bad about it. So it should never be justified with the exploitation which was done by the colonial masters in the modern times. Now come back to the topic. In your book, it is written that exchanges were facilitated by the introduction of coinage. As I told you, many shrenis and guilds, they used to make coins. Okay, like punch marked coins were very famous. They were made up of silver and copper, and they were amongst the earliest to be minted and used. In the Vedic era, punch marked coins were there. Why it is known as punch? Because you make a mark by punching on the coin. So punch marked coin. The first gold coins were issued by 1st century CE by Kushans, and the best quality of gold coins were also there. Then James Prinsep was an officer in the Mint of East Indian Company, and it was he was the one who was able to decipher the Ashokan Brahmi script in 1838. So this is very important, because after this reading of Ashokan scripts, we became more clear about the trade and commerce. Okay. Now let's come to the Magad Empire. If you remember, in the last class we were writing about it. So Magad in present day Bihar became the most popular Mahajanpad, and Magad was a region where agriculture was specially productive due to the fertile soil. Why the soil was fertile? Because it had many rivers and tributaries along it, and at that time rivers and tributaries were used to do the internal trade also. People used to keep the goods on the boats, and they used to travel intercity from here to there. And even today, if you visit the area of eastern India, they use the rivers to go in the intercity from one place to another. So rivers became a source for the waterways trade also at that time. And it also used it was also used by the army to facilitate their army supplies and their war weapons during the battles and the war. And iron mines were also there. They were accessible, and they were provided they provided the resources for the tools and weapons, which made the ruler more powerful and aggressive. Due to this only, the rulers of Magad, like I told you yesterday also, Bimbisar, Ajatashatru, Udayin of the Haryanka dynasty, they became very ambitious because they had the source of wealth with them. They knew from where they can get the best kind of weapons. Fine? Yes, it was the area of Ganga Doab. Basically, Doab is a region which is the land between two rivers. Okay, so any Doab is a land between two rivers. So Ganga Yamuna Doab is very important in North India, and in South India also one famous Doab is there, for which so many battles happened. Can you tell me the name of that Doab? Okay, I'll tell you the name of rivers. Krishna and Tungbhadra river. So it is a land between Krishna river and Tungbhadra river, and for that particular land, which is a Doab, so many battles happened. The battles were there in the time of Sangam age also. Later you will see in the medieval times also, Pallavas, Chalukyas, they will fight to capture that region. Do you know the name? Yes, the right answer is by Saurabh, Raichur Doab in South India. Well done. Okay, so Raichur Doab is the right answer. Now, elephants were also there. That's why Magad Empire rose. So elephants, they were an important component of the army, and they were found in forests in the region. So why we were not using not camels, but horses? Camels were used in the part of Thar Desert, but why not horses? Basically, see, horses are better than elephants if you talk about the army and cavalry. But horses are not something which you can breed in India. These animals we used to import from the foreign countries, basically Arabian countries. So from Arab, we used to import the horses. Okay. So when you import something, it is always expensive. Okay. अरबी घोड़ा आपने सुना भी होगा, अरबी घोड़ा सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट, सबसे जो है अच्छा माना जाता है. So the best part is that when you need to have horses, you also need to see the breed, that what type of horse it is. Okay, you can't have a fight of army on a mule. खच्चर पे बैठ करके आप वॉर नहीं लड़ने जाओगे. Okay, so there is a difference between different horse breeds. So the horse breeds which are suitable for the wars, they were imported from the Arabian countries. So we used to import horses from the Arabs. Now understand that especially if you are importing something from a region, so you are importing, okay, now you need to make it work in a different climatic situation, because if horses are a breed coming from the Arabian climate, they won't be very happily living in a Indian climate also. Of course it will be hard for them to live, but however they will be sustained because they had a very harsh way of control. Now just try to imagine, जो चीज़ जहाँ की है वहाँ से आपने मंगाया, ओके, बट जहाँ की वो है वहाँ तो वो सबसे अच्छी होगी. If you are importing Arabian horses, you can bring it to India, you can make them work in your army, but try to imagine the army of Arabians who are having their own source of original horses, their own best breed of horses with them. So can you just imagine the level of cavalry they had? Because they never had to import it from anywhere. They had their own horses. So the best horses, the best breed could be kept by them. They will never export it. So if you have something very good in your country, and if you know that this is the best utility for me, you'll never give it to someone else. Okay, even if you will sell it, it will be very expensive. So if we are importing let's say 1 lakh horses, maybe only 1000 of these horses are best breeds. It may happen that 99% of horses are simple mediocre breeds and they are not very powerful. Maybe 1000 of the horses are best powerful horses. So when you buy something, you can't only buy only expensive things. So few of the horses came from the expensive breeds, best breeds. Many of the horses generally they were not of the good breeds. Okay, काम चलाऊ थे, खाना पूर्ति वाले. So in the army, in our Indian cavalry, we had lesser quality of cavalry, you can say, if we compare it with the Arabians. Arabians knew it. Of course, they were giving the horses to Indians. So they had a good idea that in Indian subcontinent, horses are not there. Even if whatever they are having, it is something which they have imported and outsourced. Best breed is still not there. So we can easily defeat them. So this gave a great level of confidence to the Arabian invaders in the medieval times, because they knew the root cause and the pain of the Indian army. They had a good knowledge that in India they are still using elephants. So we started using elephants in the army from the Magad time. In Mauryan time also we used elephants. In Gupta time also we used elephants, and during the Rajput era or Rajput's age, we were using elephants. Horses were only very few. If you compare it with the Arabian armies, there was no comparison at all. So of course, they got the victory from the northwestern India. They entered, and then they captured all the part of North India. There was the rise of Delhi Sultanate, and ultimately they will get to reach till the part of South India also, which we will see in the medieval times. Okay, now the Ganga and its tributaries provided the means of cheap and convenient communication. As I told you, they used to have these rivers in the Magad to facilitate the trade and commerce also. So there is a small timeline which is there in your NCERT book. I liked it, so I have kept it for you. I want you to write it in your book also. Please write this timeline from 600 to 500 BC. We saw the emergence of Mahajanpads. We have already written the name of Mahajanpads and I have shown you the map also. Then from 544 to 492 BC, the reign of Bimbisar was there, Bimbisar of Haryanka dynasty. Then from 492 to 460 BC, the Ajat tenure was there. Ajat was the son of Bimbisar and it is said that he killed his father Bimbisar to get the throne. Then Udayin came, Shishunag dynasty was also there, Nanda dynasty also came, which I will tell you and dictate you. Not very important for exam, but I'll dictate you in short, just to keep a chronology and sequence. Then in 269 to 231 BC, we saw the reign of Ashoka, which is a big reign. Okay, he ruled for a very long period. And then in 201 BC, Kalinga war was fought. Then in 335 to 375 BC, the reign of Samudragupta came, the best ruler of Gupta Empire, very powerful. We will discuss it when we will come to Gupta Empire. Then from 375 to 415, the reign of Chandragupta II was there, who is also known as Vikramaditya. Okay, so basically in ancient history we have three Chandraguptas. One is Chandragupta Maurya of Mauryan Empire. Second is Chandragupta of Gupta Empire, who was the not founder. Shri Gupta was founder, but he was a very initial ruler in the Gupta rule. And then we saw the rise of Chandragupta II, who came after Samudragupta, son of Samudragupta. And Chandragupta II is also known as Vikramaditya. He took the title of Sakari also when he defeated Shakas, Shaka Satrap in the western India, and he captured Vallabhi from them. So we will discuss Chandragupta II, and during the rule of Chandragupta II, Fahian also visited India, who was a Chinese traveler. So we will discuss about it when we will come to Gupta Empire. Then in 1784, Asiatic Society of Bengal was founded, from where the literary sources, archaeological evidences and so many other things were getting analyzed, and they started preserving many literary records also. So it also, helps us in knowing the ancient history well. Okay, so just write this timeline, it is important, and then I'll start the dictation of today's lecture, whatever we have covered till now. Are you ready for the dictation? Yes, superior quality of horses were not found in India. Yes. So, one more point is here that, see, we have taken the timeline and things from NCERT, but sometimes in NCERT, few of the timelines and dates are confusing. In 6th class they have written a different date, in 7th class different date, in 12th class they have repeated the same topic with a different date. Don't worry, when I dictate you the concept, there I have ensured that the best part of research of that particular date is given. And if there is any confused or debatable topic, we will write both the dates. And don't worry, they'll not ask dates in the exam when they come to the ancient history, because UPSC also knows that few of the dates are debatable. Okay, so I hope you guys are ready for the dictation. Let's start from the Magad, because yesterday we were writing about Magad only. Please put the heading Magad Empire or Magad Mahajanpad. Let me have some water. Start writing from a new page. Can you tell me the last line which you have written in the last class? C means common era, CE means common era. Okay. So can you tell me the last line which you have written in the last class, what I was dictating to you? From there only I will resume. Give me a moment, guys. I just need 1 minute of break. Okay. Republican states we wrote, no? Fine, fine. I got it. Please write. 16 Mahajanpads. Number 1, Magad. Magad in bracket. Modern Patna and Gaya and parts of Shahabad. Shahabad. Shahabada. Okay. Under it, please write. Old capital of Magad was Rajgrih or Rajgir. Rajgir. New capital became Patliputra. Patliputra. They were both fortified and show the sign of habitation in about 5th century BC. The kingdom was bounded by river Ganga in north, comma, river Champa in the east, comma, Vindhyan range in the south, Vindhyan range or Vindhyas in the south, and river Son, Son, in the west. River Son in the west. Okay, let me repeat the point. We are writing about Magad. Old capital was Rajgriha, new was Patliputra. Both Rajgir and Patliputra were fortified and they show the signs of habitation in about 4th century BC. The kingdom was bounded by river Ganga in the north, river Champa in the east, Vindhya range in the south and river Son in the west. Okay, the kingdom was ruled by King Bimbisar, full stop. Details of king and the people of Magad are mentioned in the Anguttara Nikaya. This is important for prelims. Anguttara Nikaya. This is the spelling of Anguttara Nikaya. You can look at the board. Details of the king and the people of Magad are mentioned in the Anguttara Nikaya. Most of the Mahajanpads were merged into the Magad Empire by 4th century BC. 4th century BC. Number 2, second important Mahajanpad, please write Gandhar. Gandhara. Gandhar. Underline Gandhar. Gandhar is your subtopic. Under it, please write. It is in modern district of Peshawar and Rawalpindi, East Afghanistan and Kashmir Valley. Gandhar, modern districts of Peshawar and Rawalpindi, East Afghanistan and Kashmir Valley. Next point, Takshila was its capital. Takshila was its capital. Full stop. Panini and Kautilya. Panini who wrote the Sanskrit grammar, if you know. Panini, P-A-N-I-N-I. Panini and Kautilya were the alumni of Takshila. Alumni, A-L-U-M-N-I, of Takshila University. Next point, it is a very important point. It's a star. Make a star. Behustin inscription. This is the spelling. Behustin, B-E-H-I-S-T-U-N. Behustin inscription of Achaemenid Emperor Darius. A-C-H-A-E-M-E-N-I-D. Achaemenid Emperor means Iranian Emperor. He was from Iran. Darius, D-A-R-I-U-S. Darius was a name of king. I'll repeat the point. Behustan inscription of Achaemenid Emperor Darius indicates that Gandhar was conquered by Persians. Gandhar was conquered by Persians. Number 3, third important Mahajanpad is Kamboj. K-A-M-B-O-J-A. Kamboj. Kamboj. Its capital was Rajpura or Hatak, H-A-T-A-K. Its capital was Rajpura or Hatak, and it was famous for excellent horse breeds. Underline excellent horse breeds. Kamboj was famous for excellent horse breeds. Number 4. Fourth, Chautha Mahajanpad, Kurus. K-U-R-U-S. Kurus. Kurus. Capital was Indraprastha. This is mentioned, or it is mentioned, please write it is mentioned. Kuru is mentioned in Jataka tales, Mahabharata and Buddhist literature. Buddhist literature. Next point, it's a star, very important. The Kuru tribe was formed because of the alliance. The Kuru tribe was formed because of the alliance and merger between the Bharata and Puru tribe. भारत और पुरु के मिलने से बना कुरु. Let me write it here for you. Which two tribes merged together? Bharata and Puru. Sometimes it is said that the name of India, Bharat, comes from this tribe only, Bharata. So Bharat and Puru. Let me repeat the point for you. The Kuru tribe was formed because of the alliance and merger between the Bharata and Puru tribe. Bharata and Puru tribes. Next point. The Kurus were also related to the people of other communities. The Kurus were also related to people of other communities like the Panchals and Yadavas और Yadavs. Panchal और Yadav से ये related थे. The Kurus were also related to the people of other communities like the Panchals and Yadavas owing to their matrimonial relations. Owing to their matrimonial relations. Okay, number 5. Fifth Mahajanpad, पांचवा, Koshal. 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 If you guys feel that I am very fast in the dictation, you can always reduce the speed from the settings in the YouTube. Okay, if you click on the video, there is a option where you can adjust the setting and the speed of the video, and if you don't like the normal speed of my dictation, you can make it slow for you. Okay, if you write very slow, but if it is fine for you, then no worries. You can make it faster and slower according to the way you like. Fine. Now come to the next part, Koshal. Koshal was eastern Uttar Pradesh. It was in eastern Uttar Pradesh. It belonged to the northern black polished ware culture. Very important. Northern black polished ware culture. NBPW culture. Full stop. Its mention is found in Ramayana and many other Pali literature. Its mention is found in Ramayana and many other Pali literature. Next point. Saryu River, Saryu Nadi, Sarayu, Saryu River divided the state into two parts. Northern part's capital was Shravasti and southern part's capital was Ayodhya. I hope you know about Ayodhya, why it is important. Because of Ram Janmabhoomi. I'll repeat the point. Saryu River divided the Koshal state into two parts, and the northern part's capital was Shravasti, Shravasti, and southern part's capital was Ayodhya. Next point. Koshal included the tribal republican territory of the Koshal included the tribal republican territory of the Shakyas of Kapilvastu, which has been identified with Piparava. This is the spelling of Piparava. Koshal included the tribal republican territory of the Shakyas of Kapilvastu, which has been identified with Piparava, which is the birthplace of Gautam Buddha. I hope you remember. We have discussed this when we were talking about Buddha. And as per a Shokan inscription, which is in Lumbini, which is lying 15 kilometers away from Piparava, it was the birthplace of Gautam Buddha. Number sixth Mahajanpad, Mallas, Mallas. Capital of Mallas were Kushinara and Pava. Kushinara and Pava were the capitals of Mallas. It is very, very important for Jainas and Buddhists. Both Mahavira and Buddha had their last meal at Pava and Kushinara respectively. So in this place only they got the salvation. So this is very important. ये एक salvation की जगह है. Mahavira and Buddha had their last meal at Pava and Kushinara respectively. I can see few of the doubts. अंकुश रावत यू हैव रिटन मैम बुक्स में पेलियोलिथिक एज 5 लाख ईयर्स लिखी है सब में, लेकिन एक्चुअल पेलियोलिथिक एज 20 लाख पहले से चालू है. ऐसा क्यों? ऐसा तो बच्चे उनके क्या स्पीसीज थे ये भी नहीं समझ पाएंगे. यस Ankush, see, basically, when we talk about the Paleolithic age, it's best to write and mention in the exam that it started from 2 million years ago 2 million years ago to 12,000 BC. This is the time period. Okay. And in my first session only I have discussed this. If you will go into the dates of Paleolithic age, you might get confused because in different books they have written different sources and they prefer different sources. That's why this kind of debatable dates are there. But I teach history optional also. So we in optional follow a period which is a timeline, and as it is a very long period we have divided it into three parts: upper Paleolithic, middle Paleolithic and lower Paleolithic. So if you want more explanation on this, because it's a very detailed topic, I have covered it in the first session, kindly watch it. Okay, and then you will be able to understand all the points. I have dictated the timeline of Paleolithic age also in that session. In this playlist of this series only, you will find it on the Sunya's platform. So here only in the YouTube you can watch it. I hope your doubt is clear. So just follow the timeline for the Paleolithic age, which is 2 million years ago to 12,000 BC. Clear. Now let's come back to the dictation, guys. 7th Panchals. सातवां महाजनपद लिखेंगे Panchals. 7th, it was in western Uttar Pradesh. Panchal finds a mention in Mahabharat epic also, whose princess was named Panchali after the region. Kannauj was the famous city which was situated in Panchal kingdom. Kannauj was the famous city situated in the Panchal kingdom. Full stop. Okay, that's it. We don't need to write many lines about each and every महाजनपद, है ना. थोड़ा दो दो लाइन लिख के हम लोग खत्म करेंगे इसको. 8th महाजनपद, नंबर 8, मत्स्य, MATSYA, मत्स्य महाजनपद, which is in Jaipur. Matsya, MATSYA. So it was a major water source. Okay, so please write the first point. Apart from serving as a major water source, Harshal, you have written that, ma'am, can you please evaluate and give feedback for answers? Yes, I was waiting for all the students to write the answers. I can see that 4 to 5 students sent their answers in the group. I'll evaluate it, don't worry. I was waiting for others on answers also, so that I just sit for 2-3 hours and check all the answers. Okay, because one by one, if I'll reply to every message, it will take a lot of time, and sometimes it is very tedious to check all the messages in the chats. So don't worry, it will be evaluated by day after tomorrow. If I get time, I will evaluate it tonight. Otherwise, by the day after tomorrow, it will be evaluated, and all the answers will be evaluated. Don't worry. So Matsya, we are writing about Matsya. Please come back to the dictation. Apart from serving as a major water source, comma, Yamuna river separated Matsya kingdom from Panchals. Yamuna river separated Matsya kingdom from Panchals. A king named Sujata, Sujata, ruled over Matsya as well as Chedi. Chedi Mahajanpad bhi hai na, Chedi. So Sujata ruled over Matsya also as well as Chedi also. Number 9, Nova Mahajanpad लिखेंगे. Chedi, Chedi. It was in the eastern part of Bundelkhand in central India. Chedi. So please write about it. The kingdom of Chedi finds its prominence in the Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata. The kingdom of Chedi finds its prominence in the Mahabharata. Full stop. According to the ancient text, comma, Chedi was ruled by a king named Shishupal. Underline Shishupal. Shishupal, comma, who was an ally of the kings from Magad and Kuru. Shishupal, who was an ally of the kings from Magad and Kuru. Full stop. Shishupal was the rival of Vasudeva Krishna. Shishupal was the rival of Vasudeva Krishna. If you come from Hindu religion, you must be knowing the story of Shishupal and how he was killed by Krishna ji. So Shishupal was the rival of Vasudeva Krishna, comma, who was his uncle's son. I'll evaluate all the answers, don't worry. Sundari and Harshal, I remember. Now come back to the dictation. Shishupal was the rival of Vasudeva Krishna, who was his uncle's son. Full stop. He was killed by Krishna during the Rajasuya sacrifice. He was killed by Vasudeva Krishna during the Rajasuya sacrifice performed by Pandava, comma, युधिष्ठिर. सो ये स्टोरी है कि जब युधिष्ठिर अपना राजसूय यज्ञ कर रहे थे तो वहीं पे कृष्ण जी ने शिशुपाल को मारा था. Okay, so I'll repeat the point. Shishupal was rival of Vasudev Krishna, who was the uncle's son, and he was killed by Vasudev Krishna during Rajasuya sacrifice performed by the Pandava Yudhishthir. Okay, नंबर 10 अंग. तो 10वें महाजनपद पे हम आ चुके हैं. अंग के बारे में लिखेंगे. 10th महाजनपद अंग, ANGA, विच इज इन मुंगेर, बिहार. अंग, मुंगेर, बिहार. The earliest references to the people of Anga, the earliest references of the people of Anga are made in Atharva Ved, are made in Atharva Ved and Buddhist texts. Next point. The Jain Prajanapana Sutra, the Jain Prajanapana Sutra, Prajanapana, Prajana, Pana, Prajana, Prajanapana Sutra claims that Angas were amongst the earliest groups of Aryan people. Amongst the earliest groups of Aryan people. मतलब सबसे पुराने आर्यन मुंगेर में, बिहार में पाए जाते थे, according to the Jain text. Next point. Anga was merged into Magad by Bimbisar. Anga was merged into Magad by Bimbisar after the murder of Brahmadatta, the king of Anga. After the murder of Brahmadatta, the king of Anga. The capital of Anga was Champa. Champa, full stop. Champa had an occupation of Northern Black Polished Ware, NBPW. Champa had an occupation of Northern Black Polished Ware, NBPW. ओके. नंबर 11. सिर्फ 5 और महाजनपद बचे हैं, इनके बारे में एक एक लाइन लिखनी है, ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. नंबर 11 अवंतीज. अवंतीज, AVANTIS, सेंट्रल मालवा, सेंट्रल मालवा एंड मध्य प्रदेश. So capital of North Avanti was Ujjain and capital of South Avanti was Mahishmati. बाहुबली मूवी में जो वो माहिष्मती बोलते हैं ना, वो यही वाला माहिष्मती है. Capital of North Avanti is Ujjain and capital of South Avanti is Mahishmati. The most important ruler of this area was Pradyot, Pradyota. Very important. This is a star, make it a star. The most important ruler was Pradyot, who married to the daughter of Udayan. Udayana. Next point. Avanti was a great center of Buddhism. Full stop. When King Shishunag defeated Nandi Vardhan, Nandivardhana, comma, it was annexed into Magad kingdom. It was annexed into Magad kingdom. Number 12, Vatsas, Vatsas. Thank you so much, Utkal, for your compliments. Uh, let's come back to the dictation. Vatsas, Vatsas. Vatsas belonged to Kuru clan who had shifted from Hastinapur to Kaushambi. Vatsas belonged to the Kuru clan who had shifted from Hastinapur to Kaushambi. Next point. किंग उदयन, उदयन याद है ना, जिसकी डॉटर से शादी हुई थी प्रद्योत की, जो अभी ऊपर लिखा आपने, द सेम उदयन रूलर. So basically King Udayan ruled from 6th to 5th century BC over Vatsa. Please write it. King Udayan, Udayana, ruled from 6th to 5th century BC over Vatsa. Full stop. Next point. He made Buddhism as the state religion in Kaushambi. Kaushambi, Kaushambi, which was a very prominent entry port. Which was a prominent entry port. आज भी कौशाम्बी बहुत important है, if you know. Kaushambi is near Noida in Uttar Pradesh. Next point. It's a very important point. It's a star part of your art and culture. Swapna Vasadatta, a Sanskrit playwright of Bhasa, is about Udayan's love affair with the princess Vasavata. एक प्रिंसेस है वासवदत्ता जिनके साथ उदयन का एक लव अफेयर है. उसके ऊपर एक संस्कृत प्ले राइट लिखा है भासा ने. भास वॉज अ ग्रेट लिटरेचर ऑफ दैट टाइम. So that Swapna Vasavadatta is about Udayan's love affair only. So you know who is Udayan now? Udayan is a very famous ruler. Okay. So please write Swapna Vasavadatta. Swapna, Swapna, Swapna Vasavadatta, 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 Vasavadatta. In bracket, Sanskrit playwright of Bhasa, Bhasa, Bhasa. This is the spelling of Bhasa. Is about Udayan's love affair with a princess known as Vasavadatta. Okay. बस 3 और महाजनपद बचे हैं. Number 13, Ashmak. Asmak, Ashmaka. According to Angutra Nikaya, Angutra Angutra, Angutta, Nikaya, Nikaya, King Brahmadatta ruled over Asmak with its capital at Potali, Potali. Potali capital का नाम है. ब्रह्मदत्त रूलर थे who used to rule here. Number 14 number 14 लिखेंगे. 14th महाजनपद, 14वां महाजनपद है ये सुरसेना. सुरसेना महाजनपद के बारे में लिखेंगे. प्लीज राइट अबाउट सुरसेना. Surasena, सुरसेना इन मथुरा. It was the main center of Buddhism. Surasena was the main center of Buddhism. As the king, Avantipura Avantipura was the chief disciple of Buddha. Was the chief disciple of Buddha. बुद्ध के सबसे बड़े शिष्य में से एक थे अवंतीपुरा, सुरसेना के राजा थे अवंतीपुरा. AVANTIPURA. Avantipura or Avantiputra. In some books it is written Avantiputra. So you can write Avantipura/Avantiputra. Okay. Number 15, Vajji. Vajji was on Ganga river. VAJJI. Number 15, 15 महाजनपद हो गए हैं वज्जी. Please write, it was the most powerful among all Republican Mahajanpads. It was the most powerful among all Republican Mahajanpads and had popular cities like Hathi Gumfa. In Hathi Gumfa we have found inscriptions also, Hathi Gumfa inscriptions. Hathi Gumfa, HATHI, Hathi, GUMPHA, Gumfa, Hathi Gumfa, comma, Kundapura, KUNDAPURA, Kundapura. Hathi Gumfa, comma, Kundapura. Number 16, the last Mahajanpad, Kashi. Kashi, which is situated on the junction of Varun and Assi river. Varun और अस्सी नदी के बीच में है. Kashi, situated in the junction of Varuna, 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 and Assi river, ASSI, Assi river. अस्सी घाट बहुत famous भी है काशी का. It is the kingdom of Kashi and had its capital at Varanasi. Please write, the kingdom of Kashi had its capital at Varanasi. It showed earliest habitation. It showed earliest habitation around 500 BC. Next point. Two prominent rulers of Kashi were, काशी के दो सबसे बड़े राजा. Two prominent rulers of Kashi were Brahmadatta and Ashwasen. Two prominent rulers of Kashi were Brahmadatta, BRAHMDATTA, Brahmadatta, and Ashwasen, ASHVASENA, Ashwasen, Ashwasen, in bracket, ruler of Nag dynasty. Nag dynasty के राजा थे अश्वसेन. And father of the Jain Tirthankar, Parsavnath. I hope you remember Parsavnath. Just before Mahavira, Parsavnath was the Tirthankar. Okay, so he was a very famous Tirthankar. So his father was the ruler of Naga dynasty, Ashwasen, and he ruled on Kashi. Okay, see, I am teaching you beyond NCERT, even if it is a NCERT series, but my intention is to cover everything for you, even if something is not mentioned in the book, but if I know, I'll tell you, which is interesting to know, and it will help you understand the history very, very well. Okay, so that's why some important add-ons are there in my dictation, and we have written about all the 16 Mahajanpad. Now we can simply focus on the Magad kingdom specifically, where we can write about Haryanka dynasty, then Shishunag dynasty, then Nanda dynasty, how Mahapadmanand established Nanda dynasty, then Dhananand was killed by Chandragupta Maurya, then Mauryan Empire got started. So only a small paragraph needs to be written about these small dynasties. But before I come to it, I just want to have some confirmation from your side, because see, we are following a pattern. आप देख रहे होंगे since all these classes, what we are doing is we have made a pattern that initially for 1 hour I just explain you the topic which is important and which follows the NCERT. But as NCERT is written in segments, कभी कुछ topic लिखा है फिर अगले पेज पे they start talking about any other topic, right? जैसे NCERT में if you open a chapter, एक ही chapter में they have mentioned the name of Ashoka also, then they have mentioned the name of Gupta ruler also, then they will talk about Samudragupta, then suddenly they will jump to the Vedic era again. So they don't follow any chronology in NCERT. So what I do, I explain the chapter for you, I explain the book. But then in the second part of our lecture, मतलब 1 घंटा शुरू में I explain, and then 1 hour I give you dictation to make everything sync along and make it in a chronology. So if you want any change in this pattern, you can let me know. Okay, because see, those who don't want to write, those who have less interest in writing, or if they want to write it later, they can skip the video after 1 hour of the lecture, because they know that after 1 hour I'll be dictating, because it's very hard for me also to teach for more than 1 hour. So 1 hour I will teach you and 1 hour I'll give you dictation. Not just completely 1 hour, but as a 50 minutes around I will give you dictation, so that the chronology is never broken when we are doing this NCERT series. So this is a pattern which we are doing, right? If you want any change in this pattern, or if you like this pattern, if you want to continue in this way only, let me know. I just wanted to add one more thing with this pattern, is that we can have few discussions on questions like PYQs and MCQs related to the topics which we do on daily basis. So that also I'll add in the end of the class, so that initially you get the explanation, then the dictation, and then the PYQ analysis. So let me know how you like it. If you find it good, we can initiate it. And as I have searched a lot on these topics, in the prelims MCQ, they are more concerned about Indus Valley civilization. They have no questions, means very few questions are there from Mahajanpads and from Magad also. Then they are interested in Mauryan Empire. But as you know, that they can change that pattern anytime. That's why we can't leave anything. Okay, but for your assurance, I have not included many MCQs till now, since 7-8 classes we have done. Why? Because I have not found many interesting MCQs coming in prelims from these topics. Only from Indus Valley civilization I got questions, and few of the questions came from Magad. But they are more aggressively asking questions from the time of Mauryan Empire. So now the lecture, the part which we are starting, is the most interesting part of your history, because now we will discuss the rise of Chandragupta Maurya, then Ashoka, then the Gupta rule, then you will see the Rajputs, their rise, and then how India got invaded by Arab invaders. So it's very interesting. Now the storyline will start. It's like watching a movie. Okay, अभी तक क्या था कि you had to write so many pointers and sequences. So these issues were there. तो थोड़ा सा मतलब rough चल रही थी class. But now it will be very interesting, and many new interesting topics are coming. So just stay tuned for that. And I think this pattern is fine for everyone. I can see all of you guys are happy with this pattern. राजकुमार आपने लिखा है क्या ये क्लास डेली होती है? यस राजकुमार, ये क्लासेस डेली होती है 9 PM. अभी जस्ट वी हैव स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम लास्ट वीक, ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं हुआ है. सो यू कैन स्टिल ज्वाइन, एंड लास्ट क्लासेस का आप रिकॉर्डिंग देख लेना. एंड वी मीट डेली एट 9 PM. Okay, so let's start about Haryanka dynasty, guys. Quickly, I'll just give you dictation of Haryanka, Shishunag and Nanda dynasty. And tomorrow I'll give you the dictation of Mauryan Empire. ठीक है, चलेगा, ऐसे कर लेते हैं, because otherwise it will be too long. So let's write about Haryanka dynasty now. Let's come back to the dictation. Please put the subheading Haryanka dynasty, Haryanka, Haryanka dynasty, 545 to 412 BC, 545 to 545 से लेकर 412 BC तक, 545 to 412 BC, Haryanka dynasty. So when you write about any of the dynasty, in bracket you can write the time period under it like this. In exam also try to follow this pattern. Please write number 1, first point. First ruler was Bimbisar. Bimbisar from 544 BC to 492 BC. Bimbisar, Bimbisara, 544 BC to 492 BC. Second important ruler was Ajatashatru. Ajatashatru, 492 BC to 460 BC. Okay, now first, please write about Bimbisar. Bimbisar was the first king to have a standing army. So in prelims, they may ask you this. Who was the first king to have a standing army? Bimbisar. So Bimbisar was the first king to have a standing army. Full stop. He consolidated his position by maintaining matrimonial alliances. He had 3 wives, 3 पत्नियां थी, 3 वाइफ थी उनकी. So Bimbisar consolidated his position by maintaining matrimonial alliance. So first wife, first was Koshal Devi. You can write the Bimbisar wives. Number 1, Koshal Devi, Koshala, Koshal Devi, daughter of King Koshal and sister of Prasenjit. Koshal Devi, daughter of King Koshal and sister of Prasenjit, Prasenajit. Prasenjit. We have written about Prasenjit if you remember. So first wife थी Koshal Devi. Second थी Chelanna, Chellana. Chelanna. Chelanna was the Lichavi princess from Vaishali. Chelanna was the Lichavi princess, Lichchhavi, Lichavi princess from Vaishali, who gave birth to Ajatashatru. And third was Khema, 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 daughter of the chief of the Madra clan, Punjab. Madra clan की बेटी थी Khema, Khema, daughter of the chief of Madra clan, Madra, Madra clan, Punjab. तो एक वाइफ लिच्छवी से आई थी, एक पंजाब से आई थी और एक कौशल से आई थी. ओके, नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. व्हेन उज्जैन किंग प्रद्योत was suffering from jaundice, when Pradyot was suffering from jaundice, Pradyot was the ruler of Ujjain. Okay, so when he was suffering from jaundice, then at the Avanti king's request, Then at the Avanti's king request, अवंती के राजा के रिक्वेस्ट पे, कॉमा, बिम्बिसार sent the royal physician, Bimbisar sent the royal physician Jivak, Jivaka, Jivak to Ujjain. Jivak to Ujjain. तो बिम्बिसार हैड अ रॉयल फिजिशियन, जीवक थे वो, उनको उज्जैन भेजा था कि तुम प्रद्योत को जॉन्डिस से बचाओ. तो दिस इज वेरी वेरी फेमस इंसिडेंट्स. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, गांधार रूलर ऑफ तक्षशिला, गांधार रूलर ऑफ तक्षशिला, कॉमा, पुक्कू सती, PUKKUSATI, पुक्कू सती जो राजा थे गांधार के, ही सेंट एन एम्बेसी टू बिम्बिसार. पुक्कू सती सेंट एन एम्बेसी टू बिम्बिसार. Bimbisar was killed by his son Ajatashatru. Bimbisar was killed by his own son Ajatashatru, comma, Koshal Devi, who brought Kashi village as dowry. तो कोशल देवी उनकी वाइफ थी जो कि काशी लेके आई थी दहेज में. कोशल देवी who brought Kashi village as dowry died of grief. Died of grief. तो वो दुखी से मर गई जब उनके पति को बेटे ने मार दिया. कॉमा, causing King Prasenjit to revoke, causing King Prasenjit to revoke the king of Kashi, the gift of Kashi. तो प्रसन्नजीत ने दहेज वापस ले लिया, बोला कि भाई तुमने मार दिया है बिम्बिसार को तो हम तुम्हें काशी नहीं देंगे, जिसकी वजह से वॉर हो गई. इट ट्रिगर्ड अ वॉर बिटवीन कोशल एंड मगध. So I'll just repeat the point. After the death of Bimbisar, who was killed by his own son Ajatashatru, comma, Koshal Devi, who brought Kashi village as dowry, she just died of grief, causing King Prasenjit to revoke the gift of Kashi, comma, triggering a war between Koshal and Magad. Triggering a war between Koshal and Magad in which Ajatashatru defeated Prasenjit by manipulating his minister. By manipulating his minister. दीर्घचरायन, दीर्घचरायन नाम के एक मिनिस्टर थे प्रसेनजीत के, उनको थोड़ा मैनिपुलेट किया अजातशत्रु ने एंड ही गॉट द विक्ट्री. इट इज़ वेरी सिमिलर टू द बैटल ऑफ प्लासी इन विच यू सॉ दैट हाउ रॉबर्ट क्लाइव misinterpreted Mir Jafar and he misused Mir Jafar and in this way he got Bengal, right? So similar situation thi yahan pe. Ajatashatru succeeded in defeating Prasenjit by manipulating his minister Dirghacharayan, Dirgha, Dirghacharayan, Charayan. Next point, in a peace treaty, comma, Kashi was restored to Magad and Ajatashatru. Kashi was restored to Magad and Ajatashatru married to the Prasenjit's daughter. Married to the Prasenjit's daughter Vajjira. Vajjira. So you can see that why they used to marry. They used to confirm that okay, ये war खत्म हो गई, अब दोबारा मत लड़ाई करना. And if you will have a war again, if you will try to kill me, then you are killing your जीजा. तुम मुझे मारोगे तो जीजा को मारोगे. So you should not kill me because I am now husband of your daughter. So not Jija but son-in-law. Okay, so ऐसे ही they used to become brother-in-law, Jija, son-in-law. They used to do these matrimonial alliances just to stop the wars. Okay, so now Prasenjit's daughter married Ajatashatru and then peace was restored. Okay, so this was the story of Ajatashatru who killed his father and then he, had this war against Prasenjit. Ajatashatru also destroyed Vaishali. Please write this point also. Ajatashatru also destroyed Vaishali. Okay, now third ruler. After Ajatashatru, third ruler came. The son of Ajatashatru was Udayin. Udayin. Udayan. This is the spelling. Udayin. From 460 BC to 444 BC, he was son of Ajatashatru. He built the fort upon the confluence of river Ganga and Son. सोन नदी और गंगा नदी के कॉन्फ्लुएंस पर he made a fort. He built the fort upon the confluence of river Ganga and Son at Patna, and he transferred his capital from Rajgir to Patliputra. He transferred his capital from Rajgir to Patliputra. Full stop. So we have completed the discussion on first dynasty, Haryanka dynasty. That is done. So tomorrow we will discuss Shishunak dynasty. Put this subheading and remind me to tomorrow. Okay. So put the heading Shishunak dynasty 412 BC to 344 BC. Okay. So there we will discuss Shishunak and Kalashoka. These two rulers are there, and then Nanda dynasty will come, from which the Mauryan Empire starts. So from here we will resume the session tomorrow. In case you have any doubts, in case you have anything to discuss, please let me know. And if you have no doubts, if everything is clear to you, then I'll be ending session here. And guys, try to share the lecture series with more learners, with your friends, and try to spread this message of education to everyone, and support the channel by liking, support the initiative by sharing it more and more. Okay, so I'll end the session now, guys. Please let me know if you have anything to discuss. Varun Singh, you have said that on YouTube the dictation will not work, but don't worry. The points which I'm dictating is they are so important and they are so rare to get in any of the book that everyone will write, and many of the students are already writing it. And as it is a new series, this is a new trend which we are initiating. So by teaching just on slide, a lot of content and data will be very monotonous and repetitive, and when you write you learn. These points are so important that I want you to learn these things. So when you will write, it will be coming in your subconscious memory, and when you write and when you keep practicing, you work on your handwriting also, your speed also, your vocabulary also, and you don't do the grammatical and spelling mistakes in exam. So as we have combined the preparation of prelims and mains, that's why these dictations are important. Okay, what we can do is reduce the time of dictations, but we can't completely eliminate it. Fine. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the session. See you then. Take care. Bye bye.